Hi there. So in this video, I want to talk about connecting to spirit. So I've talked a little bit about the source in my first video where I talked about, using crystals or just in general becoming attuned to the source, to the universal energy. And then I talked a little bit about manifesting. And next I want to talk about connecting to spirit. So very much like the source, spirit is energy. So this is the universe. It can be ghosts, guides, nature spirits, gods, fairies. Really connecting to spirit is really just connecting to all types of energy. And once you've set an intention, or once you've tried manifesting something, or asked for guidance, or have done any type of ritual, the next thing to do is to start listening to spirit. And you can do this even if you're really not trying to manifest anything in particular, just in general, being more spiritual and being more attuned to the energy around you is a great practice. But if you are trying to manifest a particular future or a particular outcome, then once you do the ritual and you are trying to see through that and find the signs, then connecting to spirit is one of the next things that you're going to want to practice and cultivate. And it does, the more you do it, the more it comes easy to you. So how do you connect with spirit? Well, there's some obvious ways that people connect to spirits. They see ghosts, or maybe they'll see objects moving on their own. Sometimes you'll hear these weird noises, or, feel or smell something unusual. So those are just some of the obvious ways that people have connected with spirit. But most times spirit really connects subtly. And when you think of spirit and all energy, kind of think of it like water and air. Spirit is like air. It can move freely, it's light. But then you look at water, water is very thick and very dense. And so when spirit is trying to communicate with you, when it's trying to provide clarity or guidance, or just really show you a particular path, spirit is so light and airy, and then we're here on our human plane where it's much dense, and the vibration, everything is just that much more dense. And so oftentimes when spirit does communicate with us, it comes through with almost like a whisper, because our energy is so dense here on our human plane. And so it is sometimes very much like a whisper. And so people receive information from spirit in a lot of different ways. It can be through dreams. That's primarily how I get a lot of my information, is through dreams. Sometimes I'll even have kind of a lucid daydream in the middle of the day. This has happened often. My old partner always used to know when I was getting a vision, because I'd kind of zone out. It often happened in my kitchen where I would zone out. I would kind of almost like download, similar to the movie The Matrix, where they would download, those little bits of information. I would get a download. I would have this vision, almost like a daydream, and then I would come out of it and I would know where I was going. I have a lot of lucid dreams where spirit communicates with me in that way, and I'll talk more probably about dream work in more videos in the future. But so there's dreams, there's just feeling and receiving feelings and intuition. There's visions. Some people smell and some people feel, and so there's six different kinds of, they call it the clairs. So ways that you can connect with spirit. And so there's clairvoyance, and that is to see. And so this is probably the one that people say that they get the most, where they have visions, they can see things, whether it's from the past or from the future. So clairvoyance is one of the most common ways that people say that they connect with spirit. Then there's clairaudience, and that's hearing. And so that might be if you're doing spirit work, or if you're doing work with someone, you might hear, some people hear voices, or they'll hear sounds. Then there's clairsentience, and that's feeling. So that can be a touch, a feeling in general. I personally don't have experience with clairsentience, so I can't describe it all too much, but it's to have feeling. There's claircognizance, and this is knowing, and this is when people just have a knowing. I do have this sometimes where I don't necessarily haven't received a vision, but I just have a knowing. And I don't know if this is more common for me now because I'm more attuned with spirit, or if it's just something, a gift that was given to me as I get a little bit older. But I knew, and I don't know if that's just intuition, right? Just a knowing. But that happens to me also. So clairvoyance and claircognizance is two that are familiar with for me. So then there's clairgustance. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that's more about taste. And so sometimes people will have, especially if you're working with someone, you might get these tastes in your mouth where it doesn't really make sense. And then same thing with the last one, clairsalience, and that is smell. And so that might be where, say you're doing a reading with someone and all of a sudden you smell cigarettes, and you're talking and you tell them that, and all of a sudden the person that you're working with, communicating with, maybe a spirit guide or someone that's passed on, they were a smoker. And so it makes sense. So one of the things to note, that if you're working with someone else, and even when you're working with yourself, never kind of doubt the signs that you're getting. Just kind of roll with it, because sometimes they don't make a lot of sense when it's first coming to you, but in hindsight, or as you get through the process, it'll make a lot more sense to you. So those are the different clairs, and those are a lot of the ways that people connect with spirit. And so when I do my crystal grids, or when I do any kind of manifestation, oftentimes I will get mine through visions, so clairvoyance, and then I'll also get claircognizance, where I just have a knowing, and a lot of times it comes through dreams. I had a dream the other night, and it was funny because I had this knowing. It was saying, spirit was telling me, like, I had been very busy with work, and I was kind of just going with the flow as opposed to being very focused. And I find that when I do manifesting, it not only helps me, one, manifest my reality, but also it helps me stay focused, and it helps me with my intention setting. And I find that that in itself can help push you farther towards your goals. But I had this dream where I was riding in Santa Claus in his sled in my dream, and I had all the reindeers, and I wanted to fly, but I wasn't flying yet. And then all of a sudden I remembered that I had to say the words, now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer, and Vixen. But in my dream, what it was telling me was that I need to set my intentions, and I need to do my manifestations, and I need to be able to say what it is that I need to say in order for what I want to happen. And so that was just a reminder for me. So that's a little bit of a little story tell that is related but not related. But when I woke up in the morning, I knew exactly that. I was like, I have to wake up, I have to do my energy clearing, and then I have to really get straight and clear on what it is that I want. And I need to ask for that from the universe in order for it to be able to provide. So I needed to manifest. I need to do my ritual in order for the universe to be able to work with that which I desire and need. And so, so that's about connecting with spirit. And that's really, once you manifest something, or you start getting into manifesting, allowing yourself to be open and to communicate with spirit is the next step in order to be able to move towards those desires.